Hey YouTubers, it's me. Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art. I wanted to get back to you. I've been thinking about how they're normalizing nuclear contamination and how we're all, those few thousand of us on this planet that actually want to push back and make the nuclear industry be honest. We're the few and far between. So I've been thinking about that. And I went to the internet tonight and I wanted to share a few stories. But then at the end, I had this list of things and you'll see them. Oh, Lord, there was a ton of them up, I suppose. That's what happened. Oh, yeah. YouTube's. There we go. Okay. So I had all these stories. It started with this. I started looking at this. Wait a minute. I don't think I screen shared. I just got the stories up. What does it say? Present to everyone. There we go. Okay, so now we're screen sharing. And this Lockheed Martin story caught my eye because it's right up there in Hanford. Nothing but these are the most egregious. These people should be going to jail for the stuff they're doing. There's an alleged fraudulent kickback scheme related to $232 million support contract for nuclear waste disposal, the Justice Department said. This is the Justice Department calling these people out. This is such a long story. So then I was looking around for and then we get these pro-nuclear people telling us there's no credible threat of nuclear radiation. And what this guy's talking about is there's a sentence in here, he says, we need to have the experts tell us what to do. Scientists behind the foundation report stood behind their findings. I bet you they did. So then I found all these stories kind of normalizing nuclear contamination, right? And so I went, as I want to do, and I said, what's going on with the new events? So I start looking through every one of these. In 2019, there are no nuclear power reactor warnings, maybe 2. Maybe 3. You know, when I was on UCY TV with the Age of Fission radio show, when I first did this, I did this every day. And I'm not kidding you, 3-4 times a week, nuclear events on just weird stuff that went on that they're required to do. I do not believe that these agencies are reporting the events that are going on. Check this out. This is just unbelievable. You look up here. Okay, so I'll tell you how to read this on the quick, because I got used to this very quickly. See, there's only 2 events that happened on February 14th, and this was at a medical center. So that's not, and here's Grand Gulf, and it was a fitness for duty. Somebody got drunk. That's all it was, or something like that. Failed to report for a fitness for duty test. So if you don't do that, you get access to the site was terminated. He didn't get fired, but he was terminated. A non-licensed employee. That means somebody who wasn't like somebody high up. They didn't do a drug test or something. That's all you find on here. This is really weird. I mean, I said, okay, well, I haven't looked all year long. So I just keep going back. I went back. I'm like, this event was retracted. Potential unable to safety valve. This was at the Pilgrim Power Reactor, but they retracted it because they said there was a potential loss of mainstream isolation, but that was not true. So we retracted it because that's actually not true. So this was reported like they used to, but it was immediately retracted the same day. The event was made on 1/5, but within a very short period of time, event date, notification date, and so this notification date, and then it came in on the 12th. So a week later, they're like, no, that did not happen. They took it back. So then this is also not a nuclear. This is also a medical facility. This is also just a nuclear facility, defects and noncompliance. I mean, I'm going to take a little bit of time to show you this because this is peculiar. This is a pattern. So I said, huh, because I know that we have this going on. They have these nuclear liars out here just, they're updating old definitions about nuclear waste. I mean, they're doing stuff that's unbelievable. Look at this. This was hilarious. This is the NRC's new rules. This is their new rules that San Onofre is not going to be required to file. So San Onofre, which is a closed down nuclear power facility, which is being decommissioned, but has truckloads of nuclear waste, is not going to have to abide by the new rules to maintain resources and procedures to cool a nuclear reactor's core and the pools where spent fuel is treated, as well as preserve the reactor's containment in a site as well as preserve the reactor's containment in case a site loses all electricity. So how are they going to do that? Maintain equipment that can reliably measure the water levels and spent fuel after disabling events such as an earthquake or flood. How do they do that? Preserve the resources needed to protect the core containment. Preserve the resources and spent fuel from external hazards. Preserve the resources just means save the frickin' money. Preserve the resources. So they have to be able to say they're doing it. So this was like a straight party line vote, right? So then I went over here and I was thinking, wow, they basically are giving them a free-for-all. The reason that the Democrats voted against it is because it doesn't do jack. It doesn't really tell them what to do. It's a complete non-starter. I mean, it hasn't been updated. They haven't done these things. They're telling them to do it, but this is stuff that should have been done. And if you have an earthquake, how do you do this? How do you maintain the resources and procedures in a 6.0, a 7.0 earthquake at Columbia Generating Station, where the nuclear spent fuel will just cause an earthquake in Hanford? An earthquake is, let's say Columbia Generating Station has a meltdown because there's an earthquake. Nobody could get into Hanford. So how could they maintain anything at the Columbia Generating Station if they can't even get into Hanford? And at these spent fuel pools up there in San Onofre, like, what are they going to do with them? They're in these shoddy half-inch thick caskets that leak in 20 years. Maintain equipment that can reliably measure water levels in the spent fuel. So they're not even requiring this as an earthquake or a flood, which is right on the West Coast. So I was flipped out, right? So I'm just going to go here back to this because this was pretty incredible. So I went, let's go to this and look at 2016 in January. Because that's really when I was quite active, and I remember we'll compare apples to apples. So January, this is what year? I want to make sure I'm 2016. Okay. So let's go to February 12th. That's where we're at, February 12th. I started here. I didn't start at February 16th because we're Friday. So this is Friday, right? So February 12th, there must have been something that closed down. Now look at how many nuclear power facilities started reporting, okay? There are 5 events, not just 1, 2, or 3. But this is not a nuclear facility. This is a seed thing that they lost. This is another seed thing that they lost, medical procedure. Here's a power facility. This is what we used to see all the time. Potential uncontrolled rad release, accident mitigation. They'd like boast about how great they were. They saved us. Okay, Perry, Ohio, valve specification, system actuation. So this was considered like concern, but no loss to human health. Don't worry, everything's fine. The plant is at normal electrical line with the exception of the E111 being de-energized. So it's in a cold shutdown, but it's safe. So we would see this all the time. Gina in New York, same. It's back up to 100% power, okay? This is 2016. Now I'm just going to go back for a couple of days because this is peculiar. I think they are not reporting. I do not believe that they are reporting these common nuclear accidents around us. I think that the levels and the lack, what do you call that word? Slack or lax attitude at the EPA and within the NRC now is like, well, let's don't even bother. Because the only thing that, if you look through the first 14 days of 2018, there was fitness for duty and maybe one or two things that had been retracted. But look at this, same thing here the day before. This is 2016, Fitzpatrick, 2016, 9 Mile Point reactor. Here we go. I mean, they all told us Indian Point. I mean, LaSalle. They have not fixed these things. This is like maintenance stuff that they do all the time. Has the NRC changed its reporting standards? That is kind of my question. I guess I'm going to have some homework to do. I am just blown away by this. I put my stopwatch on so I don't talk too long. I finally remembered to put the stopwatch on. But anyways, you guys, I wanted to talk to you about that because I have been thinking about how the 8-year anniversary of Fukushima is coming up. We've got 1 month away. And it's like business as usual. They're talking about the 2020 Olympics. They're normalizing nuclear contamination as if it's just like, well, it's just what we have to deal with. And they're talking about keeping these nuclear facilities open even though they leak. They're putting out information. They're seriously putting out misinformation and lies intentionally. But that seems to happen. Like that's the weird part. Like in America, that's like the accepted part, that politicians, like big people like the president, like the NRC, like anybody can just lie about anything and hope to convince whoever it is, the peoples, so they don't rise up and stop them from doing it. But this is outrageous. They're not reporting any of the nuclear events, folks. So if you live near a nuclear power facility, I'd say pay attention. You need to pay attention to get your Geiger counter, get a Geiger counter and pay attention if you live within 50 miles of a nuclear power plant, because you are in danger. And I would almost certainly guarantee it. Because before we were in danger, but at least they were reporting it. It doesn't even seem like they're reporting it. So what's going to happen is the NRC is going to say, oh my gosh, we didn't even know. And yes, they were in violation, just like that 152 million scheme or something like that. Like, what's that? Just, it's incomprehensible, the level of theft and graft that the nuclear industry is doing to the United States. And imagine what the chemical and the coal industry is doing. Imagine what all these big energy corporations are just raping and pillaging. This is why battery, I'm actually very, very, very convinced that domestic violence and the nuclear industry, like the whole oppressive society is all hand in hand. They keep it all together. They do not want empowerment. That's why I think that there's been kind of an attack on the spiritual life of people, the people who are bucking the evangelical, the American Talibans, or the Muslims, because Muslims are just like American Taliban. They're strict. They're not like, it's not, being a Christian, I guess, has its degrees, just like being a Muslim, just like being a Hindu. But any of these super strict religions, man, that's all about oppression. And that goes hand in hand with the nuclear industry. So anyways, I guess we'll talk to you guys later, and put your courage feet on. You can listen to my podcast, The Age of Fission, on Spreaker.com. I'm posting up Dave Parrish's show. I'm posting up Libby Halevi. And I'm actually going to start a podcast for myself. It's a complete self-indulgent on my Spreaker podcast called Tiny Angel Cards. And they're going to be doing angel card readings. I have a YouTube channel called Tiny Angel Cards. I've started doing readings. But I've decided it's my Spreaker channel. I'm just going to do it anyways. Like, it's completely different from this, but I'm going to do it. And you can listen to my podcast on www.kepw.org. It's the local radio station here that's actually awesome. It gives you a good flavor of Oregonian politics and the local progressive movement here. And I don't know, there's some very interesting, great music that's all non-licensed local music that's on KEPW. So, anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Put your courage feet on. And you know what? We're just going to stand up against them, I guess. It doesn't even matter, like, what they say, what they're going to do. We're just going to keep telling the truth and shining the light on, hey, folks, we're being poisoned. Time for us to stand up and demand that science be released from corporate control, because that's going to be our only way out. So, ciao. Thanks for listening to me. And thank you to all my new subscribers. And thank you to all of my old subscribers, like TJ Washington and Gary Menserati and Orange Julius. And like, it's kind of fun to have my channel. Like, I've hit over my 400 goal. That's super awesome. I really want to get to 1,000 people. That's kind of my new thing. Someone told me I need to be at 1,000. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go be at 1,000. And I'm actually starting my tiny angel cards, but I don't know. I don't know if people will follow that, but it's really for me to like do those readings because I really like doing them. And I like talking politics while I do it. It's kind of a weird thing. As you know me. Ciao, you guys. For the third time. Bye.